let's welcome our speaker on stage, Dr. Sourabh S. Kokatnur. Huge round of applause, girls and boys, who is an assistant professor in Department of Postgraduation Studies in Basic Principles of Ayurveda, assistant professor, Department of Maulika Siddhanta, Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya, Hubli. He has also authored many papers on integrated yoga and Ayurveda. So here we have the speaker for the next session, Dr. Sourabh. Now it's time to welcome our next speaker for the session, Dr. Sadhanashree, who is the MD, founder, consultant of Arogyavardhini Ayurvedalaya. Let's have a huge round of applause, girls and boys. She is a doctor by profession and accomplished Bharatnatyam dancer by artist by passion. And she has also received Jivaka Award from the prestigious Himalayan Drug Company for her academic achievement in bachelor's. She has completed her MD in Panchakarma specialization with a whopping second rank in the entire state. एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाए हमारे speaker के लिए. And let's welcome our third speaker for today's session, Dr. Chinmoyee Thakuria, a university topper of RGUHS in her specialization, and interests include working for the society and upliftment of public health. She is pursuing final year of post-graduation, that is MD, in the Department of Swasthavritta from Sri Dharmasthala Manjunatheshwara College of Ayurveda and Hospital, Hassan, Karnataka. So here we have our speakers for the next session. Are you all excited? Or it has to be louder. Are you all excited? Well, now let's cheer up for our moderator, Dr. Mukund Raj as well. I request her to please proceed.
खाना हो गया सबका? थोड़ा शक्ति और जोश आ गया? गुड. एक और इंफॉर्मेशन है. आज सुबह 180 क्वेश्चन मिले हैं, खाली 20 ही पड़े हैं. सेकेंड सेक्शन में 170 आई थिंक 170 या 150 मिला है. हम एक काम करने वाले हैं, आज सुबह से जो भी प्रश्न आएगा सभी क्वेश्चन पढ़ने वाले हैं आज रात. कल का 2 सेशन भी पढ़ने वाले हैं और तीसरे सेशन आखिरी सेशन में जहां ओलंपिक गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट अंजू बॉबी जॉर्ज है और उत्तम सिंह जी हैं, शैली सिंह है, उस सेशन में बेस्ट 10 क्वेश्चंस को उनके तरफ से वी विल बी गिविंग यू अ प्राइज. दिस विल बी गिवन टू यू बाय देम. हम लोग वी आर ऑल्सो गोइंग टू गिव यू अ स्टैटिस्टिक्स कितने स्टेट से रेलेवेंट क्वेश्चन, जो फालतू क्वेश्चन है उसको निकालने वाले हैं, रेलेवेंट क्वेश्चन को आपको मिलेगा. सो प्लीज राइट रेलेवेंट क्वेश्चंस. आई थिंक इन द पास्ट 5 सेशंस फ्रॉम यस्टरडे मॉर्निंग, जहां हम लोग शुरू किए थे इंडिया इज द मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी, फिर स्टूडेंट सेंट्रिक गवर्नेंस जो इनका रोल है, फिर स्टार्टअप इंडिया, डिजिटल इंडिया, सब कुछ है. ये सब करने के लिए आपको फिट रहना पड़ेगा, जो फिट इंडिया है. तो फिट इंडिया के लिए 2 पार्ट्स में हम लोग डिवाइड किए हैं सेशंस. आज जो एक्सपर्ट्स हैं वो आयुष के बारे में, योगा, मेंटल हेल्थ एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, दे विल बी टॉकिंग टू यू. आई विल देन हैंड इट ओवर टू सहना लेटर. और कल जो है मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में बात करना चाहते हैं. तो one is the physical and the other health, part of it a partially mental health, और कल completely mental health, so that these people who are the young generation can take it forward. I now leave it to you to moderate, Dr. Sana. Thank you. You can please.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all had good lunch. And you're back again here after refueling yourself to have a great interactive session. Are you all ready? Okay, so as you all know, this current session is about Ayush. Have you heard of this term, Ayush? I'm sure this is a trendy word these days, and then everywhere there is news about Ayush, right? So what does Ayush mean? What does Ayush stand for? Can anybody help me in answering this? Yes, A for Ayurveda. Great. Why? Yoga. Awesome. U? Unani. S? Siddha. Right. And the last one, that is H? Homeopathy. Right. So the Ayush systems of medicine, they are together. They have the acronym of Ayush, wherein we talk about Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, and Homeopathy. So this session is basically about Ayush. However, All the three speakers today present here are Ayurveda experts. So we exclusively work as Ayurveda practitioners, as Ayurveda teachers, and as Ayurveda guides. So for the next 1.5 hours, we can spend time on discussing various issues about Ayurveda. Is that okay? Are you all ready? I'm sure you have a lot of questions and queries about Ayurveda, right? Okay, so we will try to make it interactive, we will try to make it interesting so that you don't go to sleep after a heavy, nice lunch. Okay? Yeah. So maybe I can start the session with the permission of the other two speakers. Yeah. So I would like to begin by placing two scenarios in front of you. Are you all with me? Are you all hearing me? Can I have a thumbs up? All right. So, two scenarios in front of you. Scenario A, scenario B. Okay, so what is this scenario A about? In scenario A, can I know your name, ma'am? Sorry? Anag. Kanak. Okay. So, in scenario A, we have Miss Kanak going to a very nice gadget shop, an electronic store. So, she goes there and then she buys the most expensive, most sophisticated gadget, you know, a device. And then she brings it home. And then after coming back, she doesn't realize that there is a user manual that is given along with this sophisticated, very expensive gadget. So she randomly picks it up and then starts using it. So she doesn't try to understand how the device works. Don't feel bad that I'm taking your name, just an example. So she doesn't try to understand how the device works. She doesn't try to understand what are the features that are present, how to use each and every key that is present in the device. So she just randomly uses it and she doesn't know how to take care of the object and she doesn't know how to troubleshoot the problems as and when they come up. So what happens after some time? So what happens to the device after some time? Exactly, right? So it'll start giving up. So it doesn't listen to her commands and then unexpectedly it shuts down or unexpectedly it comes up with an error wherein she gets frustrated in the long run. So basically she's not able to use the gadget for the purpose for which she has bought it, right? So this becomes a very unpleasant scenario. This is a very unpleasant situation, both for the user and for the device. Now let's go to scenario B. Okay, so in scenario B, we'll have Kanak again. So Kanak again, she goes to an electronic shop and she buys the same equipment, the most expensive one in the shop, and then she comes back. But then now there is a difference. She opens the box and then she takes up the user manual, the guide that is there along with the device. And she very patiently sits down and tries to understand how the gadget works, what are the features, how to take care of the gadget, and then how to make sure that it works gently. And then she follows them diligently. So the whole process, her whole experience with the gadget becomes a very, very pleasant one. And the gadget also responds and then reacts to all her commands, and then it is with her for a very, very long time. And the most important thing is that she is able to use the gadget completely for the purpose that she has bought it for. So this is, in scenario B, a very, very pleasant experience. So now let's keep this materialistic gadget away for a while and let's talk about this living gadget called human body. Yes, dear friends, human body is indeed the most expensive and the most sophisticated gadget that is ever available in the universe. But have applause. So, Ayurveda is indeed the user manual that we have for this most sophisticated machine or most sophisticated device called the human body. But how do I substantiate this statement? How can I prove that Ayurveda is a guide, a manual? Because a manual must talk about every aspect of the device, right? But in the present scenario, we go to an Ayurveda doctor after we fall sick. We contact an Ayurveda person when we are not feeling well. But does this serve the purpose of being a manual? No, right? So how to understand Ayurveda as a living manual, as a life manual? For this, we will have to get into the term or get into the word called Ayurveda. You have to understand a little more about Ayurveda so you get the complete picture of what Ayurveda really is. So when I interact with people and when I ask them what they know about Ayurveda, the most common answers are, it is a herbal system of medicine. It is a system of medicine that does not have side effects. It is a system that is very, very slow. It is a system that gives a lot of bitter medicines. It is a system that talks only about diet. So each and every definition is partially right, but it does not give you the complete picture of what Ayurveda is. So to understand this, we need to technically understand a bit of the definition of Ayurveda. So does anybody here know what Ayurveda means? Connecting with nature, okay? Again, this is a partial statement. So let me help you. Can you split the word Ayurveda into two parts and see? So what are the two parts of the word, of the term Ayurveda? Okay, so let us divide it into two parts, Ayu and Veda. What does Ayu mean? Age, lifespan, okay? What does Veda mean? Sorry? Ancient scriptures, okay. Basically, yeah, it is from the root word vid, which means jnana or which means knowledge, wisdom. Okay, so now as per your statement, if we put the two words together, it should become wisdom of lifespan. Do you understand anything from this? Wisdom of lifespan, you understand? Does it give you the complete picture of Ayurveda? No, right? Okay. So let's go one step deeper into the word Ayu. So technically, we define the term Ayu in Ayurveda as the union or the team or the combination of four aspects. The combination of four aspects, namely the physical body, the mind, the senses, and the spirit or the consciousness. So, Ayu refers not just to lifespan, but it refers to all these four aspects of our personality, starting from the physical body, then the sense organs, then the mental body, and then the ultimate, the spirit or the consciousness or the soul, what we call as. And Veda means wisdom. Hence, Ayurveda is that wisdom which gives us knowledge about all these four aspects of our personality, and that is how it becomes a complete user manual. And here, at this point, I would like to bring your focus towards the point that Ayurveda is not just a medical science that you go to when you fall sick or when you're not well, but it's indeed the life science that teaches you how to live so that you don't fall sick. It teaches you how to live happily and in a healthy way so that your lifespan can be lived to the fullest. So this is how Ayurveda becomes a complete manual for this body. And also, Ayurveda is a universal manual, right? When I say universal manual, it means that it is not restricted to only to people who are living in India, or it is not restricted to only vegetarians, or it is not restricted to people who follow a certain set of religious practices. No, it is a universal theorem, it is a universal language. because Ayurveda holds good for a newborn. Ayurveda can be applied for a kid. Ayurveda talks about youth like all of us. Ayurveda talks about age-old people. Ayurveda talks about, or Ayurveda gives us knowledge about death. Ayurveda talks about what happens after death. So like this, every phase of life is covered in Ayurveda. And that is how it becomes a universal manual catering to each one of our needs and not just diseases. It caters to all the requirements that we need. It gives us the tools to live a happy and healthy and complete life. But the most important question here is, how does it cater to the youth? Right? I said it is universal, but the context of discussion here is mainly about youth. So how does Ayurveda cater to the youth? So youth is basically the period of, it is probably the most beautiful period of everybody's lives. So youth is the period of speed, it is the period of learning, it is the period of agility, it is the period of progress, education, so on and so forth. But unfortunately, these days, youth is also becoming the period of a lot of physical diseases, anxiety, depression, lack of confidence, lack of purpose in life, and then insomnia. And so like this, there are many, many problems that each youth is facing. And in this context, Ayurveda has spoken about 3 important principles that each and every youth can follow in order to make the best of our youth period. So I would like to call them as the most basic principles of Ayurveda, which are Ahara, Vihara, and Vichara. So can you repeat after me? Ahara, Vihara, and Vichara. So what is Ahara? Ahara basically means food, right? But according to Ayurveda, it is not simply food. Ayurveda calls food as Mahabhaishajya. That is, it is the greatest medicine. Food is considered as the greatest medicine that can help us in keeping or sustaining our health. So learning Ahara Vijnana, the principles of food as per Ayurveda as to what to eat, how much to eat, when to eat, and following these principles diligently will really help us in staying healthy in the long run. And then coming to the second aspect, that is Vihara. So Vihara basically means lifestyle, the kind of regimen that we all follow. So Ayurveda has given the greatest concepts of this aspect of Vihara, wherein it talks about Dinacharya, Ritucharya. So what is Dinacharya? Dinacharya is the daily regimen, or what we have to do from the time we wake up till the time we go to bed, so that the biorhythm inside our body is maintained, and then there are no disturbances created, so that the health or the state of balance is maintained throughout the day, and thereby throughout the seasons, and thereby throughout the year, and thereby throughout one's life. So by following the principles of Dinacharya, we can have a very, very beautiful, harmonious lifestyle. And then moving on to the third one, that is Vichara. That is the right mental attitude or the mental framework. So again, Ayurveda gives us tips as youth. What are the right mental attitudes that we can cultivate so that we can progress in our journey? So my dear friends, in this phase of youth, we all undergo a lot of variations when it comes to the physical body, the mental plane, our emotions, our senses. But then once we try to understand how all of them contribute to each other, once we try to understand the subtle link that is there between all these factors, then we can make the best of our youth period. We can make the best of this period to stay healthy, happy, and then achieve the purpose of our life. So Ayurveda is not just a medical science, but It is a complete living manual that you can approach at any point of your life to progress and to become better. So this is a brief introduction about Ayurveda. I wanted to introduce to you the other perspective of Ayurveda that is less spoken of, and this is how Ayurveda can become your life manual. Thank you so much. We will listen to the other two speakers about the different perspectives of Ayurveda, and then we will meet again to take questions and discuss on various other issues.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was very enlightening, but very, very knowledgeable as well about Ayurveda, breaking off how Ayurveda word and all of that. So it was really interesting. Since I am not from that background, I was really enjoying backstage. And I hope all the students have enjoyed as well. आप सभी लोगों ने enjoy किया, right? और आप सबके दिमाग में questions भी start हो गए होंगे. So the process goes the same. Once all the speakers are done with the session, then the students are requested to ask the relevant questions to the topic and to the point questions. Please fold your chits and keep it ready and kindly give it to the volunteers, and then the questions will be picked up and will be answered. Well, I have one more very important announcement to make. Since you all have been participating since yesterday and many of the questions are not answered, एक खुशखबरी है सभी लोगों के लिए, और वो ये है कि कल after the second session, each and every question right from day one, session one, will be read out right here on this stage. Now that is something I think you all will be really interested about. So जिन्होंने भी सारे questions पूछे हैं, कल हर एक का प्रश्न यहाँ पर पढ़ा जाएगा, and we are also acknowledging 10 best people as well. So can we have an NSS clap for this thought? Because I know everybody was waiting कि हमारा question नहीं पढ़ा गया. So tomorrow, each and every question will be read out here on this stage. Well, now it is time to welcome our next speaker for the session, and that is Dr. Sourabh. Can we have the NSS clap and let's welcome him to continue. Thank you so much.
Hello everybody. Can I have all of you standing for just a second and check your seat? Just check your seat. Please sit back. This is what is Ayurveda. We are sitting over Ayurveda, but we are not checking whether we are sitting properly or not. We are connected to Ayurveda, but not seeing whether really connected properly to Ayurveda or not. My co-speaker, madam, gave detailed narration with present scenario like technology and all. I would take you to a different way of understanding Ayurveda. Is it okay to have Hindi as a language for communication? Is there anyone who is unable to speak Hindi or understand Hindi? Yeah. उनके लिए मैं फिर से, for those, I'll definitely repeat with English for better understanding. क्या होता है, हमारा language हमारे लिए communication के लिए बहुत अच्छा पड़ता है. ये जो अंग्रेजी है, ये उनके लिए अच्छा रहेगा. तो इसलिए अपना language यानी हिंदुस्तान का हिंदी language में आयुर्वेद के बारे में थोड़ा बहुत जानकारी देने के लिए इच्छुक हूँ. तो एक अच्छा ऐसा हर एक के मन में आएगा, आयुर्वेद इतना सब कुछ बोलता है, जल्दी सो जाओ, जल्दी उठो, जल्दी पढ़ो. या हर एक के घर में है ऐसा सेंटेंस? जब तक आप स्टूडेंट थे तब तक तो रहेगा. अब जो माता पिता बने वो अभी बोलने लगे, जो सुनते थे वो अभी बोलने लगे, है या नहीं? अपने बच्चों को बोल रहे. तो ये आयुर्वेद यहाँ से शुरू होता है. तो इसको कैसे जाने, आयुर्वेद को कैसे जाने? जल्दी सो जाओ, जल्दी उठो, ये नामुमकिन है प्रेजेंट डे में. एक नोशन है ना इंग्लिश में, ईट हैव ब्रेकफास्ट लाइक किंग एंड डिनर लाइक अ बेगर, है ना? ये आयुर्वेद से पूरा उल्टा है. ये आयुर्वेद से पूरा उल्टा है. इसलिए आयुर्वेद हमसे स्लोली काम कराता है. जब अपने सर्वेंट, उनके साथ अपना बर्ताव अगर ठीक नहीं है तो सर्वेंट क्या करेगा? 1 घंटे का काम 1 दिन में करेगा. करेगा या नहीं? तो ये बॉडी सर्वेंट है और जो ओनर है वो आयुर्वेद है. हम उसके अलग, उससे अलग हमारा नज़रिया रख के हमारे हर दिन के एक्टिविटीज़ चला रहे हैं तो आयुर्वेद डेफिनेटली उल्टा ही करेगा। तो ऐसे आयुर्वेद को जानने के लिए एक सिनेरियो मैं आपको बताऊंगा। हम क्या करते हैं, उठते हैं लेट, रेडी होते हैं लेट, और उतने समय में हमारा ऑटो आएगा या बस आएगा या टैक्सी आएगा या ऑफिस से फ़ोन आएगा। हम क्या करते हैं, सब कुछ हरी में करते हैं। और हरी करते क्यों हैं? अगर ठीक वक्त पे नहीं पहुँचे तो हमारे बॉस हमारे ऊपर चिल्लाएगा। ये जो वरी है उसके लिए हम हरी करते हैं। और ये हरी वरी के वजह झंझट में हम खाते क्या हैं, सिर्फ करी और करी खाते हैं। इसी के वजह से अभी के दुनिया में इस वक्त जो व्याधि बहुत मौजूद है वो है हरी वरी करी सिंड्रोम। हरी किया व्याधि होगा, वरी किया व्याधि होगा, करी खाया तो भी व्याधि होगा। ये आयुर्वेद है। क्या एक इंटरेक्शन लेंगे बीच में ही? इसमें जो मौजूद 200, 250, 300 लोग हैं, इनमें से कितने लोगों को एसिडिटी का प्रॉब्लम है? इतने लोगों को एसिडिटी का प्रॉब्लम है। जितने भी एसिडिटी के लोगों हैं उनके लिए बहुत अच्छा टिप्स हम देंगे। यहाँ पे जितने लोग हैं वो बहुत सारे सुन के सुबह उठते ही 2 ग्लास 3 ग्लास 4 ग्लास पानी पीते हैं। प्लीज रेज योर हैंड इफ यू आर ड्रिंकिंग वाटर अर्ली इन द मॉर्निंग। वेरी गुड, एक्सेलेंट। क्या ये आयुर्वेद है? सुबह उठ के पानी पीना आयुर्वेद है या नहीं? आई एम वेरी सॉरी, ये आयुर्वेद नहीं है। हम आयुर्वेद के खिलाफ ही ऑलवेज बर्ताव करते हैं, इसलिए आयुर्वेद स्लो हो जाता है। सिंपल बताता हूँ, हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड बॉडी में सिक्रेट होता है, ये सभी को मालूम है ना? ये जैसे एंट आके शक्कर खाया, शक्कर खा के खाली किया और एक के पीछे एक चलते लगा, ऐसा स्टोरी ये डाइजेशन का भी हो गया है। तो जब जब हम हमारे बॉडी में हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड का सिक्रीशन ठीक नहीं होता तब तब हमारा भूख या हम जो खाते हैं उसका डाइजेशन ठीक नहीं होता है। करेक्ट है? सभी मानते हैं, स्कूल से पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं। तो ये हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड का तैयारी रात से हो रहा है ब्रेकफास्ट हजम करने के लिए। आप उसके ऊपर क्या कर रहे हैं? पानी डाल रहे हैं। तो ये क्या हो गया? डाइल्यूट हो गया। आगे का डाइजेशन कैसे करेगा? ये आयुर्वेद नहीं है। आयुर्वेद क्या बोलता है? खाओ जब बॉडी चाहे, पियो जब बॉडी बोले, आसमान नीचे गिरे जब नींद आए सो जाओ। हम सब थर्ड वन फॉलो करते हैं, जब नींद आता है तब सो जाते हैं, लेकिन खाते जब भूख नहीं है तब, और पीते जब पानी नहीं चाहिए तब भी। ये नेचुरल अर्ज है। बॉडी आपको बताएगा कि आपको पानी चाहिए, आपको बताएगा कि सेल्स के लिए एनर्जी चाहिए तो आप खाइए। इनको हम टाल रहे हैं, और जब जब हम टालते हैं उससे एसिडिटी जैसे व्याधि शुरू होता है। और ये एसिडिटी जो है ना, ये शायद इंडिया का खोज किया हुआ ऐसे किसी ने हमको पढ़ाया था। कौन है वो? वास्को ड गामा जैसा है। ये वास्को ड गामा किसी ने खोज नहीं किया था, शायद इंडिया ने वास्को ड गामा का खोज किया था। वास्को ड गामा कभी इंडिया का खोज नहीं किया। क्या उसके पहले इंडिया नहीं था? इंडिया था ही। तो हम आयुर्वेद पहले से है, इसको हम नया कुछ खोज नहीं कर रहे हैं। हमारा खोज दूसरे तरफ जा रहा था, इसलिए आयुर्वेद पता नहीं चला। आगे फिर से बात करेंगे। मैं अपने को स्पीकर्स को माइक हैंड ओवर करता हूँ। थैंक यू।
A very good afternoon. So, क्या बोल रही है पब्लिक? सोने का या सुनने का? अभी यहाँ पे बुला के लेके आए तो सुनना तो पड़ेगा ही जो बोलेंगे. But anyways, I'll really try to keep it connected to the youth. Okay? The session's theme is mental health and well-being. Okay? And we need to speak about your self-awareness and self-care tips. Okay? From the Ayush point of view. So what I would like to say is the youth which has faced the deadly pandemic, the demonetization, the crisis of social issues, who has seen,
a generation changeover in their whole lifetime. They will face a panorama of emotions in them. Okay, so now today as I am catering to the youth, I should be knowing what does the youth consist of, right? It consists of the Gen Z and the millennials, right? So who identifies themselves as Gen Z? Okay, anyone born after 1995? Many of you, right? And the millennials, born before 1995. I'm one among them, okay? I'm 1994 born. So I myself too identify as a youth among you. So what happens, today's generation is being governed by the very, very brutal yet very practical set of emotions set by the Gen Z. And it is also governed by the classic but very slow-paced work ethics of the millennials. So I would take that tap on my shoulder of being the millennial, of being a classic one. So what happens is, we face a lot of emotions in our life, right? Right from feeling lonely, being insecure about our careers, being the social fear of missing out, which is commonly known as FOMO. These all things guide our mind, and we end up having many mental issues. Okay, so in Ayurveda, there is a term called Dharaniya Vegas. So I'll just break up the meaning for it. Dharaniya means something that has to be suppressed, and Vegas means the urges. So over here, since it's a session on mental health, what I'd like to highlight is the urges of the mind that has to be suppressed has been mentioned in Dharaniya Vegas. Okay, so some of them being Lobha, that is greed, then Irsha, jealousy, Shoka, grief, then Mana, that is the false vanity or egoism. Then we also have Himsa, Avidya, all kinds of these kinds of emotions have been mentioned in Ayurveda to be kept a check upon. Okay, so how well are we keeping a check upon these emotions? That will define your mental threshold level. You have seen in the job ads, right? They always mention about qualification and desirable, both categories. आजकल के ज़माने में qualifications is something everyone has, but being from the desirable category really needs your own input. And one of these is having a control over your emotions. Since the theme is self-awareness, so you need to assess yourself in which level of mental psyche do you belong. How is your mental strength? So Ayurveda also defines Sattva Pariksha. Sattva means the mind, and mind has 3 threshold levels. The first being Pravara Sattva level, that is the people who are having a very strong mind. They face any hardships in life, they are like, aane do, hum dekh lenge. They don't mind dealing with those hardships, okay? The second one is, when they face with any hardship or any stress in life, they are like, what should we do? Then what they'll do is, they'll see the next person. And if they are seeing that the next person is doing a positive thing, they'll grab that energy. They'll take that energy and they'll think, if they can do, why can't we? So this is the second category of your mental psyche. The third one being Avara Sattva. So Avara Sattva people, what they do is, when they face any hardships or stress in their life, they take their guard down. They feel like, no, we can't do anything about it. They'll always be complaining. Even if you try to help them out, they are not open to it. So they are the weakest of the minds. Okay. So now with your judgment about your emotional state, you can place yourself in all the 3 levels of your mental threshold. That is Pravar, that is the best, Madhyama, that is the mid one, and Avara, that is the weakest mindset. The ones who have identified themselves as the, Avara Sattva, Pravar Sattva, that is the best mind, just tap your hand on your back, this way. Anyone? A very strong mind? Yeah, very good. The second one, the ones who require a little bit of counseling but will be okay after that, you double tap yourself because you are a cheerleader, right? And the third one, from which I belong, on some days, that is, if I face hardships, it's very, very difficult to control my emotions, but I still do try. So if you belong to the third category, just hug yourself tightly because you are a survivor in this brutal world. Okay, so when you identify yourself with any of the 3 categories, you have the self-awareness. Now, why do you need the self-awareness about your mental thresholds? There is a very important point when you all are being hired for a job. You have your qualifications. That adds up to your degree. But when it comes to the desirable state, you have another thing called EQ, or the emotional quotient. IQ to sabka rehta hai, and IQ gets highlighted in your degree. But the EQ, that is the emotional quotient, it's very important in today's brutal world because people will assess आप दूसरों के साथ कितना मैनेज कर सकते हो. एक ऑफिस सिर्फ आप नहीं चलाने वाले हो. When they employ you, you have to adjust to the work ethics of that place. So they assess your EQ. So EQ is the ability to control and use your emotions in a very positive way so that you can communicate with others. You can dissolve the conflicts in your workplace. And you can stand at a place where you can give good productivity to the society. So this is where the emotional quotient or a check on the sattva of your mind comes to play. So this is how Ayurveda gives you a check about your self-awareness. How strong is your mind? Okay. So after the point of self-awareness, what will come is to the tips of self-care. As my co-speakers have already said, there are various forms of self-care that we have, and few among them being ahara, nidra, yoga, dinacharya, sadvrita. Now what are all these? Ahara means the food that you are having. Nidra means what is your sleep cycle. Sadvrita means what is the code of conduct that you're having in your workplace or in your home. Dinacharya is the wake up to lying down cycle. And this way we have a lot of self-care tips mentioned in Ayurveda. And if any one of you have a question regarding the tips of self-care, you can put it up in your sheets. We'll be very happy to answer them. And with this, I would like to pass the session to my co-speakers to attend the Q&A session.
Thank you so much, Chinmoyee ma'am. And now it is time for the panel discussion. Meanwhile, I request all the students, please write your questions. If your questions are ready, please hand it over to the volunteers. अगर आपने अपने सवाल अपने चिट्स में लिख दिए हैं, प्लीज़ उन्हें फोल्ड करें और वॉलंटियर्स के हाथ में दे दें. आपका नाम, आपके स्टेट का नाम और प्रश्न तीनों ही उस चीट में होने चाहिए. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟೇಟಿನ ಹೆಸರು ಹಾಗೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯನ್ನು ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಚೀಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದು ಫೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವಾಲಂಟಿಯರ್ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೌ ಐ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮುಕುಂದ್ ಸರ್ ಟು ಕೈಂಡ್ಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ಪ್ಯಾನಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್.
You are handling the panel, so please proceed. I will get to the questions for the kids. Question that somebody asked me now is in the COVID, post-COVID. One, the mental health that I'll address tomorrow. but overall, how do we take care of our health, and how people are getting jittery with fever, with basic things. What is your advice to them? This is a very quick, one quick question, please.
ये कोविड का जो मामला है ये बहुत मेसी है। बीच में कोविड जब बहुत पीक लेवल पे था, जहाँ पे रेमडेसिविर नाम का इंजेक्शन बिक रहा था, जो 600 रुपए का था 60,000 तक गया। 2 ही दिन में कल से रेमडेसिविर यूज़ करना लीगली पनिशेबल ऑफेंस है, ऐसा नोटिस आ गया गवर्नमेंट से। ये आयुर्वेद नहीं है। जो 5000 साल के से भी पुराने ज़माने में जो मॉलिक्यूल्स लिखे हैं, उसके एक भी कंटेंट अभी के तक चेंज नहीं हुआ है। अगर ये चेंज होते रहता तो कुछ अलग सिस्टम होता। आयुर्वेद इसलिए ठहराव है, जो बोले हैं वो सच है और उसमें कोई चेंज नहीं है। तो ऐसे द्रव्यों के द्रव्य यानी मेडिसिन के प्रयोग से हमारा स्वास्थ्य हम बनाए रख सकते हैं। हर दिन ग्रीन टी पीते हैं, ये अपने तंदुरुस्ती के लिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट वे है। ईट व्हेन यू आर हंग्री, sleep when you are sleepy, drink when you are thirsty. If the heaven doesn't fall, you will live till the sky is alive. That is Ayurveda.
Thank you, sir. A quick follow-up question actually to Dr. Chinmoyee. जो हम लोग अभी आजकल काम कर रहे हैं, including me, ये सभी डेस्क जॉब हो रहा है। It is a very sedentary life. हम लोग बोलते हैं, I keep telling कल सुबह जाके उठूंगा, I will do exercise, I will do that. Tomorrow there's yogathon, जो एक Guinness World Record breaking attempt है कर्नाटक में, with all the kids here. How does yoga play a good part in both mental well-being? दिमाग सतर्क है तो हम काम कर सकते हैं, नहीं तो we cannot work. So how does it play a part in it?
First of all, I'd give a general answer for that. How we brush our teeth daily, how we take a bath daily, doesn't depend on our emotions. It's not emotion related. So when it comes to exercising daily, when it comes to practicing yoga daily or any kind of physical exercise, why to correlate it with emotions? We can easily adapt it in our daily life, how we have added the other practices of hygiene, right? But after that, if yoga is being practiced on a regular basis, what can be the benefits? I'd like to share with you. It's a little bit of more scientific. I'd like to explain it in very simple terms. Some of these studies conducted on yoga, what it says is, it makes the areas of your brain which are related to cognizance, memory, and intellect grow in size. As you grow older, what happens? Your brain areas keep on shrinking. But a regular practice of yoga helps you keep that part of the area of the brain intact in its own size and even growing more in size. Then the second one is practicing yoga on a regular basis. It releases certain neurotransmitters or brain chemicals called as GABA. So this GABA keeps a check on your anxiety levels and gives you a very, very, very good mood. So when your emotional characteristics are at a check, you can obviously excel in your work. And listening to these benefits, I hope you don't relate yoga with emotions, but you include yoga in your daily life. Thank you.
I would like to add for this, when the question of yoga had come, there is a famous verse from one of the textbook of yoga which says a person should breathe for 21,000 times per day. If I am breathing in the given 24 hours for 21,001, my second day of the life is counted. All of you have mobiles. Please take your calculator and just calculate. The simple mathematics will do here. 18 breaths per minute. 18 breaths per minute. For 1 hour? For 1 hour? 60. 1080 into 24. 1080 into 24. 25,000 odd minus 21,000 comes around 4,000 odd. If you are breathing 25,000 plus times in 24 hours, your second day's few hours are already added in the first day itself. That is how the lifespan drops. That is how the lifespan drops. When you do yoga, yoga means pranayam first. Yoga means pranayam. So practice pranayam in such a way wherein you are breathing. We all are breathing without our knowledge, isn't it? Is there anyone? जब मैंने कैलकुलेशन दिया तो 2 मिनट के लिए कोई बोलेगा अरे मैं ब्रेथ थोड़ा होल्ड करूं ताकि मेरा 21,000 हो जाए. हुआ है कि नहीं? सभी ने किया ना ये कैलकुलेशन करते वक्त? होल्ड किए 2 मिनट में 2 ही बार या 4 बार. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है. कितने वक्त तक आप कॉन्शियसली ब्रीथ करोगे? ये ऑटोमेटिकली बॉडी में होना है, तो उसके लिए योग करना है. योग में पहला स्टेप जो है वो प्राणायाम है.
एक्चुअली डॉक्टर साधना, आई हैव अ रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन. थैंक यू वेरी मच. मैं एक्चुअली ब्रीदिंग के बारे में ही पूछने वाला था. स्कूल में या हम इवन इन होम व्हेन वी आर बोर्न, पेरेंट्स टीच अस टू ब्रश, पेरेंट्स टीच अस टू ईट, नोबडी टीचेस अस टू ब्रीथ. Because if you breathe right, you live right. So what is your opinion? I mean, it's a related one. We need to be taught. Calming also, because when you're excited, we need to calm down. If you breathe few minutes down, apna anger, it comes down. A lot of issues can actually come down. So what is your opinion?
Yes, definitely. So have all of us seen how newborn babies breathe? Have you noticed? Is it more through the chest or more through the abdomen? Abdomen, right? So when you see a newborn baby lying down and then when you observe its abdomen, the abdomen goes up and goes down with every breath. So actually when we are born, we have the tendency to breathe through the abdomen. In the sense our abdominal breathing is more dominant. But as we grow and as we don't practice the right way of breathing, it slowly shifts over to chest breathing. So according to yoga specifically, there are these two ways of breathing, that is abdominal breathing and chest breathing. So abdominal breathing is supposed to be the best way of breathing because it directly activates your parasympathetic and sympathetic. I mean, it has a direct connection with your nervous system. So it activates that part of your nervous system which is responsible for calming down, that part of the nervous system which helps you in relaxing. That is why we have a very, very important practice in Ayurveda called, in yoga called as diaphragmatic breathing, wherein we consciously teach people to focus on their abdomen when they are breathing. In the sense, we have to close our eyes and then take a breath inside, and then we should make sure that when we are breathing in, our abdomen is coming out, and then when we exhale or when we give the breath out, then the abdomen goes in. So consciously when we practice this abdominal breathing, then automatically it has a very calming effect on your nervous system. Instantly you will feel relaxed, instantly the anxiety level comes down, and instantly the stress levels come down. So it is important to inculcate the abdominal type of breathing. So this can be done on a daily basis. You know, one of the greatest masters of yoga, Swami Rama of the Himalayas, says, even every hour, even if you take 2 minutes of your time, close your eyes and focus on your abdomen or practice abdominal breathing, then it will immediately de-stress you and it will prepare you to work for next 1 hour without any stress. So like this, every 2 minutes per hour, if we practice abdominal breathing, then it will help us in de-stressing on a day-to-day basis so that the negative emotions and the negative thoughts don't pile up and then it doesn't disturb us in the next day. So everyday practice of pranayama in the morning is like cleansing your mental screen. It's like cleansing your nervous system. It's like cleansing your whole being of all the stress and all the toxins that have been accumulated on the previous day, so that you start afresh. So this is the importance of breathing. And also yoga or asana practice that is coupled with pranayama is supposed to be the best. So if you don't practice the right way of breathing while you are practicing any asana, then it doesn't give you the right benefits that that asana practice must give you. Because basically in yoga, prana is responsible for all the activities or the sustenance of life. So through pranayama, we are very carefully channelizing this prana so that it enters each and every organ of our body and it rejuvenates it. But when we don't learn the right techniques of pranayama, or when we do asanas in a wrong way without proper guidance, then we are actually manipulating this prana in a wrong way, which can be very, very troublesome. Hence, through this platform, what I request all of you is to have a proper guide and learn proper techniques of pranayama and practice your asanas only with the right practices of breath. Only then you will be able to feel good, as Dr. Chinmoyee was saying, that it releases a lot of hormones in the body, a lot of chemicals that can give us health and well-being. But this happens only when it is practiced in the right way. So asana coupled with right pranayama can give you all the benefits that we just discussed.
Thank you, Doctor. Now I have randomly picked about 9 to 10 questions from this. We will be reading all the questions. If there's something very, very relevant, tomorrow we will try to reach out to you, or we will award them and then reach out to you. First random question, Mallikarjun avare, Mallikarjun Halle, NSS Volunteer Karnataka, Elidira. Nim question, if Ayush is good, then why not government help build the things, expanding awareness, etc. Government has started a new ministry called Ayush. One full ministry named Ayush ge. Because it is a part of expanding awareness, this session is conducted. That so much importance is given. So I hope this answers your question. Next one, Mr. Balaraju, Andhra Pradesh. This is to our panelists. Anyone can choose to answer. In our country, how high is the percentage of problems faced by youth? How high? That is, already they have stress on reading, they are attracted to bad activities. So there's already a stress. How high? If so, how do we decrease it? A very relevant question. So anyone can go.
So first I'll start with some of the statistics in mental health. India accounts for 15% of the total global burden of mental abuse disorders, ranging from anxiety, bipolar disorders, substance abuse disorders. So 15% being of the total global burden is a very, very high number. Okay, and a treatment gap that we have, that is people actually having the illness but not availing treatment, ranges from 70 to 92%. So you can really think about it being a huge number. Why is it so? Because we have social stigma attached with mental health problems. You would usually consult a doctor for any of the diseases you have. But when you have a mental health disorder or any other small emotional problem also, you think 1,000 times before approaching anyone. So first, you need to be clear what is the state of your emotions. How I have highlighted in the 3 types of mental threshold. First, you need to place yourself. What is my mental threshold among those 3? If you are okay with receiving help from others and getting better, so I would say go, you can opt for therapy or counseling or even, peer discussion that might help you. But if you really belong to the 3rd category, who, somewhat take their guards down, they require more of opening to accept your mental side, then what I would say is, Ayurveda has mentioned many self-care tips. You don't have to, jump into a doctor's chamber to avail those suggestions. You can start with having good food in your home. As the Bhagavad Gita says, the constitution of your mind depends on the food that you feed to your gut. और हम लोग हमेशा बोलते हैं एक आदमी के दिल का रास्ता उसके पेट से होके गुजरता है. So the first tip I would say is to adopt good food, and as Bhagavad Gita says, the consumption of sattvic food. Now sattvic doesn't mean something very religious or you can't connect to in this generation. Sattvic only means something which is fresh, something which is juicy, something which is naturally very tasty. You don't have to add any preservatives or something. That kind of food will really help you in catering to your emotional needs. Second one being your personal hygiene. Personal hygiene will include everything that you do from starting till the time you go to your bed. And respecting your sleep and wake cycle is a very, very good tip that I would give you at this moment. Because क्या होता है हमारे youth में? We have our dinner late. First of all, we'll jump onto the bed and we'll scroll down on the Instagram. The reels that come on, keep on coming, each of them giving us a kick. अरे ये अच्छा हुआ, next वाला शायद और अच्छा है, next वाला क्या आए? So that what it's doing is, it's giving us a dopamine kick. And it alters the sleep-wake cycle. आप देर तक जगे हुए रहोगे. And as a result, morning क्या होगा? You'll catch only 2 to 3 hours of sleep. As a result, you'll be very much less productive in your work. So this is why you should respect your sleep and wake cycle. Then comes the advice regarding Sadvrita. It's little difficult to understand, but आप कैसे अपने surroundings में behave करते हो, what is your conduct to others will also reflect on you. If you are being good to others, if you are being understanding to others, if you are lending a ear to someone's problems, अच्छा मैं इसकी कोई emotional outburst है, I should first be a listener. Then I guarantee you, people would turn up as a listener to you too. Okay, so these are some of the self-care tips I can give you right now. The other tips, if you want to gain, you have to consult me officially, right? I can't give it up on a whole session like this. But a very good question. Thank you for this.
I think though related questions there, but you have answered it. I need to mention the speaker. One is Jahir from Tamil Nadu and one is Shivam Kumar Mishra from Bihar. आपने already address किया है how to control unnecessary thoughts, how to do mental health. So I hope we have done this. The next question है Mali Tukaram from Maharashtra. इनका सिंपल क्वेश्चन है, इनके गांव में 1/3 महिलाओं को शुगर डायबिटिक है. So what advice can you give and how can Ayurveda help to cure that diabetes and sugar complaint in his village? It's a very good concern. Either of you, please. Any one of you.
This sugar concept आप पहले मॉडर्न के नज़रिया से मत देखिए. अगर आपको आयुर्वेद से शुगर नाम का जो बीमारी है उसको ठीक करना है तो आपको आयुर्वेद के नज़रिया से ही उसको देखना है. तो इसके लिए आप ब्लड टेस्ट करवाएं, शुगर लेवल 200 आया, 300 आया, इसलिए शुगर बढ़ गया, ये झंझट में मत जाइए. अच्छे से अच्छे, कौन से गांव से है महाराष्ट्र में? नागपूर, लातूर. तुम्ही लातूरमध्ये चांगले वैद्य आहेत, यू कॅन मीट हिम and definitely they will help you. काय आहे, if we tell about sugar over a dais in a public state, some others having sugar with some other scenario may get difficulty with it. So addressing as a disease for the treatment, it is very difficult without having a one-to-one talk, interaction regarding any disease. But generally to say, ask the person to not to eat more of पिष्ट. पिष्ट म्हणजे काय? फ्लोर. फ्लोर meals you should avoid. And avoid all raw materials. May it be vegetable, may it be fruit. इतने फलों के बारे में आयुर्वेद में उल्लेख किया है, लेकिन एक भी जगह आयुर्वेद के एक भी जगह कोई भी फल को ऐसे ही खाने के लिए नहीं बोला है. there might be an explanation of more than 200 shakha. Shakha means vegetables, fruits and this, that. But not a single vegetable or a fruit is asked to consume as it is. It has to undergo a process, either frying or boiling or cooking something. Without that, the product is going to create difficulty in the health. So you can tell that particular person who is suffering with diabetes to avoid flour mill prepared foods like maida, jawar, this wheat and all, and avoid raw intake of green vegetables or fruits. Thank you. She will add on this.
Just 3 more things that I would like to add. When we classically try to understand the concept of diabetes, so when we analyze the causes of diabetes, the 3 main commonly found causes in most of the diabetics is, number 1, divaswapna. So the concept of divaswapna or day sleep becomes very, very relevant, especially in household women or women who are not working. So what they have the habit like this. So they work since morning, very early in the morning, and then they are tired. So they have a good lunch, and immediately after having lunch, they take a nap. So this is one of the most potential causes for increasing your sugar levels, and also it becomes the predisposing factor even for people who don't have diabetes to develop diabetes over a period of time. So when you're educating people about diabetes, this is one important advice that you can give them, not to sleep during the day. Or divaswapna is one of the most contraindicated activities, especially for a diabetic. And number 2 is about consumption of curd. So curd again is a contraindicated food as per Ayurveda, especially for diabetics and exclusively in the night. So Ayurveda totally contraindicates consumption of curd at night. But how many of us know this? So many of us love having a curd rice as our dinner, right? So this again becomes a predisposing factor for diabetes. So even people who don't have diabetes over a period of time, by following this, their system starts showing increased sugar levels. And number 3 is lack of exercise or improper exercise. So we may say, I work a lot at home, I do household work, but those are all not considered as vyayama. So vyayama as per Ayurveda is a very technical term in which there is expansion of your body organs in a very specific manner, not as in how you like. So practicing the right ways of vyayama is, again, it doesn't create that environment, internal environment in the body in which the blood sugar rises. So it keeps the internal environment balanced so that the blood sugar is also under check. So you can, along with what doctor has just mentioned, you can add these 3 to avoid taking curd in the night. Number 2, to avoid sleeping immediately after a meal, and then doing regular daily exercise in the right regulated way.
Thank you, doctor. Please.
भैया आपने जो क्वेश्चन पूछा उनका आंसर तो आपको एक्सपर्ट से मिल गया. अगर फर्दर हेल्प चाहिए कोई भी, सो व्हाट आई एंड माय कलीग्स हैव बीन प्रैक्टिसिंग ऑन, पहले तो हम पेशेंट कैसा है, क्या होता है, कुछ लोग मोटापे के बाद दे गेन डायबिटीज़, कुछ लोग पतले होते हैं इवन आफ्टर बीइंग अ डायबिटिक. तो जब भी कोई पेशेंट हमारे पास आता है, फर्स्ट वी गो फॉर असेसमेंट, स्थूला या फिर कृशा, मतलब मोटापे के बाद डायबिटीज़ आया है या फिर वो जब पतला है फिर भी डायबिटिक है, और दोनों का ट्रीटमेंट अलग होता है, दोनों का खान पान भी अलग होता है. तो आप अगर कंसल्ट करते हैं डॉक्टर्स को, आई वुड प्राउडली से वी आर एक्सपर्टाइज इन ट्रीटिंग दैट इन आवर इंस्टीट्यूशन. आपको फर्स्ट हम खाने के बारे में काउंसिल करेंगे. वी हैव पेपर्स पब्लिश्ड, रिसर्च पेपर्स, जहां हमने योगा आसनास कितने करने हैं, क्या क्या करने हैं, सब कुछ डाल के एक प्रोटोकॉल बनाया हुआ है और उनको हमने जो रिसर्च का जो मेथड होता है उससे टेस्ट किया है एंड वी हैव गॉट वेरी गुड रिजल्ट्स. जो पेशेंट्स इंसुलिन पे डिपेंडेंट थे वो इंसुलिन छोड़ के दे आर डिपेंडेंट नाउ ओनली ऑन अ चेक ऑन देयर डाइट एंड एक्सरसाइज. सो आपको अगर कोई भी ऐसी एक्सपर्टाइज एडवाइस चाहिए सो यू रियली नीड टू come to a hospital, contact any of us and you'll really get that treatment. Okay? Thank you.
नेक्स्ट सवाल 3 लोगों का एक ही क्लब कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज इन एसेंस सेम है. सूर्या आंध्र प्रदेश से, एंड वी हैव अंशु कुमार बिहार से, एंड अनामिका बैनर्जी छत्तीसगढ़ से. वेरी क्विकली the question is the same कि Ayurveda and allopathy broadly in essence can they coexist and why do we need Ayurveda when allopathy can cure or vice versa? 2 alternate medicines. Very quick 2 sentence answers from each of you please.
अभी ये क्वेश्चन मुझे तो क्या बोलते हैं, आई टेक इट इन अ डिफरेंट वे. जब आयुर्वेद है तब एलोपैथी ही क्यों? जब एलोपैथी है तब आयुर्वेद क्यों? ये नेक्स्ट सेशन में जो एलोपैथिक डॉक्टर्स आएंगे तब उनको पूछिए. जब हम आयुष के हैं, जब आयुष है तब एलोपैथी क्यों? एलोपैथी का एग्जिस्टेंस 250 या 300 ईयर्स पुराना है. उसके पहले जो भी था वो आयुर्वेद है और जो भी आगे रहेगा वो आयुर्वेद ही रहेगा. आप जब पैदा होते ही आपके ऊपर तेल का मालिश किया गया, ये एलोपैथी का नहीं है. एलोपैथी बदन पे तेल लगाने के लिए कंट्रोवर्सी बोलते हैं. इंडियन डॉक्टर्स में एग्री बिकॉज दे आर एक्चुअली हैविंग ऑयल मसाज एवरी डे. ये फॉरेन के डॉक्टर्स नहीं बोल, वो सीरम लगाने के बोलेंगे. ये सीरम लगाना आयुर्वेद नहीं है.
नहीं, आई हैव ऑन दिस बिकॉज एक और क्वेश्चन क्लब करूँगा बिफोर आई हैव द लास्ट क्वेश्चन. बीजापुर से सिद्धू कुमटगी एक क्वेश्चन पूछे विच इज वेरी रेलिवेंट, सो आई डोंट वांट यू टू रिपीट इट. He says, how will Ayurveda work after allopathy? Body does not support if it doesn't support Ayurveda because it was also related to, so I'm clipping this.
This is a wrong mindset kept in the people's mind. कि एक बार आयुर्वेद लिया उसके बाद में एलोपैथी वर्क नहीं करेगा या जो एलोपैथी पे डिपेंडेंट है उसको आयुर्वेद काम नहीं करे. ये ऐसा नहीं है. प्लीज कम आउट ऑफ दिस मेंटालिटी और दिस इंफॉर्मेशन एंड टेक अ क्लैरिफिकेशन. जब जब डिसीज़ है, जब जब डिफ़िकल्टी है, तब जो भी आप करेंगे वो आयुर्वेद है. सिंपल एक आयुर्वेद का बहुत अच्छा सूत्र है विच इज़ इन संस्कृत, यू मे अंडरस्टैंड. देशानाम आमयानाम विपरीतम गुणम गुणैः सात्म्यम इच्छन्ति सात्मज्ञा चेष्टितम आद्यमेव च. जो देश है और जो व्याधि है उनके गुणों के विपरीत आपका कार्यक्रम रहना है. आप जब कश्मीर जाएंगे, अगर आपने टूर पे कश्मीर गए तो वहाँ पे अगर आप रेस्टोरेंट पे ब्रेकफास्ट के लिए ऑर्डर करेंगे, वेटर आपके सामने आके इडली चाहिए, डोसा चाहिए नहीं पूछेगा. वो क्या पूछेगा? आलू पराठा चाहिए, आलू बोंडा चाहिए, थेपड़ा चाहिए. ये क्यों? वहाँ के ठंडी के मौसम के विरुद्ध जो आहार है वो पोटैटो में है. और कश्मीर का आदमी आके अगर बीजापुर में आके आलू पराठा दो बोलेगा, वो तो नहीं देगा. वो क्या देगा? ज्वार की रोटी ही देगा, क्योंकि इस देश के विरुद्ध आहार यानी देश के गुण के विपरीत गुण रोटी में ही है. ये जो जो देशों में, जो जो प्रांतों में आहार का पद्धति है वो फॉलो करो. दैट्स इट, दैट्स द आयुर्वेद.
Finally, before wrapping, right from you, Dr. Chinmoyee, to hear Shankar from Assam. Shankar from Assam. है यहाँ? हाँ, okay. उनका एक क्वेश्चन है, what role can NSS volunteers play to promote Ayurveda? A big round of clap for a very relevant question. What role can NSS volunteers play in promoting Ayurveda and Ayush? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I would like to know the name. His name is Shankar. Okay, Shankar. Shankar, question to Huda karne thank you. Dhanyabad আজি বিহুৰ দিনাখন তুমি এই কোৱেশ্চনটো সুধিছা. As I belong from Assam, so I'm just having a gesture with my Assamese brother. So this is a very good question he has asked, and I'm happy that a youth has addressed this question. So first, what we would like to say is, to spread awareness about Ayurveda, first you have to know what is actually Ayurveda. Ayurveda is not something that has been said in the, roadside tents, what we call, ye disease ke liye ye tel laga lo, wo disease ke liye wo kha lo. Having that kind of knowledge about Ayurveda, you can't spread the awareness about it. So what I would request is, all the NSS volunteers, we have over here NSS volunteers from the Ayurveda field also. So first get to know what is the main Ayurveda essence, what are the branches, what are the specialties present in Ayurveda, and then we will let you know how you all can help us. What I'll tell is, recently I had visited an international seminar, and they had a skill building workshop on it, and it was based on community health. Since I am a PG doing my MD in Swastha Vritta, that is the counterpart of social and preventive medicine, that is the community medicine, I would say. They had conducted a survey of 26 districts. And while doing that survey, it was not possible only for the Ayurveda doctors to do so. They had to take help of the local people. They had to take help from the local NGOs so that they could get a data on what is the number of patients having anemia in the child age group present in that area. So we took help from the volunteers over there. We gained the data, and after the data was gained, we trained the volunteers. This is the state of anemia, how you can counsel the patients, not only the doctors, even the volunteers. And then we made them aware that these are the kind of medicines, lifestyle modifications that has to be given to, come out from that situation. And it was then carried out by the local volunteers to spread the awareness among the patients. So this is how we can get help from the NSS volunteers. NSS volunteers, I would say, कौन जानना पसंद करेगा any disease. What I would like to say is, any state you belong to, any region you belong to, first try to know about the situations in that condition. It might be a mental disorder, it might be a physical disorder. पहले ये जानने की कोशिश करो which of the diseases or disorders are more in number. And then let us know that this is the disease prevailing in your society. Then we will train you कि इसमें क्या जानना है, क्या आपको aware करना है public को. And then I promise you, the Ayush ministry, the whole Ayush fraternity will develop projects, research projects to work on those disorders prevailing in your society with the help of NSS volunteers. So a big round of cheers for the NSS volunteers who are going to support the whole Ayurveda fraternity in future. Right? Can I get an even more big clap? I hope this kind of cheer coming up from you when we really want to introduce the research projects in your area, and you can help us. So I think, Shankar, your question has been answered, right? Okay.
Yeah, just adding on to what Doctor just shared with you. So briefly telling you that Ayurveda has two main branches. So one is Swasthasya Swasthya Rakshanam, so the preventive care, wherein we help healthy people to maintain their health. And then Aturasya Vikara Prashamanam, that is treating the diseased. So you can definitely help us in the preventive care. So the main three branches of this preventive care are Dinacharya, Ritucharya, and Sadvritta. So the daily regimen, the food habits, the seasonal regimen. So this holds good for everybody and anybody, even for a small baby till the eldest in your society. So number one step would be understanding these principles under a experienced practitioner or an Ayurveda Vaidya. So learn these basic principles and then adopt them in your life, and then make a group of like-minded people who would want to help you in this mission. And you can start with schools, you know, because children are the budding minds, and then they grasp everything. They're like sponges. Whatever we give them, they simply absorb. So you can identify schools in your communities and go and then educate them about these basic principles of health. And number two, you can contact or you can approach women communities, because if you educate a woman, it's like educating the whole family. So to begin with, if you can start your journey in educating children on one side and women on one side, then you will be helping us in spreading the authentic essence of Ayurveda, and you will be helping us in carrying forward this wellness mission. So you can start with this little step and then see how it progresses to make it as a bigger mission.
I would like to add just one or two information for this. NSS जो अभी काम कर रहा है, इसको मौजूद रखिए पहले. जैसे कि पहले के कोई सेशन में आयुष के डॉक्टर्स को ऐसे बड़े मंच पे बुला के शायद किया नहीं था. इसके लिए बिग राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉस. एंड इसको डबल अप कीजिए कि हर एस्पेक्ट पे आयुष रह सकता है. क्रीड़ा में आयुष है, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, कल्चरल्स में आयुष है, एजुकेशन में आयुष है, और हेल्थ सेक्टर में भी आयुष है. अब तो मंत्रालय में भी गया है, यानी आयुष के मंत्रालय ही हो गया है. तो वैसे NSS कैन कंट्रीब्यूट फॉर बिल्डिंग द सपोर्टर्स ऑफ आयुर्वेदा. If NSS alone itself is supporting Ayush, then that means whole nation is supporting Ayush. Thank you.
हाँ मैडम पूछिए प्लीज.
श्रीमान आयुर्वेद आचार्य, सर्वप्रथम आपको प्रणाम. मैं राजस्थान कॉन्टिजेंट लीडर NSS, और सर मैं आपसे ये कहना चाह रही हूँ, पूछना चाह रही हूँ कि आयुर्वेद के परिणाम को शीघ्रता से किस प्रकार प्राप्त किया जाए कि आज के युवा को आयुर्वेद पर विश्वास हो जाए.
हमारे समर का एक प्रैक्टिस है. हम हर समर के वक्त पे हर एक भी खाएगा शायद. वो है सिजलिंग ब्राउनी. सभी खाए हैं ना सिजलिंग ब्राउनी. इसका ही परिणाम अगर आप जान लिए तो आयुष के सब कुछ आपने जान लिया. आइसक्रीम ये अत्यंत शीत द्रव्य है, यानी बहुत कोल्ड पोटेंट ड्रग है या आहार पदार्थ है. उसके ऊपर हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हॉट पोटेंट चॉकलेट को डाल रहे हैं. इसको सिजलिंग ब्राउनी बोलते हैं, है ना. मैं जब से आयुर्वेद पढ़ रहा हूँ ये सिजलिंग ब्राउनी खाना बंद किया है, इसलिए मैं भूल गया हूँ. शायद सिजलिंग ब्राउनी ऐसा ही रहता है. तो ऐसे मिक्सचर को खाना पहले बंद करना है. इससे ही बहुत कुछ साइड इफ़ेक्ट्स जो अपने हर दिन में होते हैं उसको हम टाल सकते हैं.
साइड में आते हैं, इसके बीच में पूछ लीजिए टाइम. हाँ अभी
मेरा आंसर आपको मिला. धन्यवाद. यस, फेथ है इसलिए इतने लोग बैठे हैं.
डॉक्टर जवाब के पहले, बिफोर द आंसर, एक स्मॉल अनाउंसमेंट एंड देन वी हैव वन मोर क्वेश्चन सो दैट यू कैन टेक इट. कल से हम एक ही प्राइज दे रहे थे. सुबह इट वॉज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू जज विच वॉज द बेस्ट क्वेश्चन. सिमिलरली वी नेवर एक्सपेक्टेड. आयुष में भी एक सिचुएशन हो गया है वेर वी हैव वेरी डिफिकल्ट इन चूजिंग द बेस्ट क्वेश्चंस. सो दो नाम आए हुए हैं. पहले मैं बोलता हूँ, प्लीज कम टू द साइड, द एक्चुअल टू गाइज. वन इज माली तुकाराम फ्रॉम महाराष्ट्र और एक शंकर असम से. आप आराम से आइए, तब तक आपके रीजनल हेड एक क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे. द अदर्स आर सम वेरी गुड क्वेश्चंस which the panelists decided. 7 we are giving some wristbands and other things. शीर सागर अंकिता काशीनाथ फ्रॉम महाराष्ट्र अगर है यहाँ, आराम से आफ्टर द क्वेश्चन. आई जस्ट वांटेड यू टू बी देयर. सिद्धू कुमटगी बीजापुर से. कोमल महाराष्ट्र से बहुत आ रहे हैं. कोमल नगरूरकर. सूर्या फ्रॉम आंध्र प्रदेश. शिवम कुमार मिश्रा बालराजू आंध्र प्रदेश से और नियाज कर्नाटक से ठहरिए जब तक नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन का आंसर ना हो जाए, देन आफ्टर दैट वी विल अवार्ड द किड्स. प्लीज पूछिए सर.
Namaste, sir. My name is Irappa Pattar. I am from Karnataka contingent. So my question is, there are some psychological related diseases. For example, schizophrenia. So where you cannot immediately give any good medicine to control that from Ayurveda. There is no allopathy will definitely immediately that control the minds of that diseased person. उसके लिए आयुर्वेद में ऐसा कौन सा इलाज है जो ऐसे साइकोलॉजिकल कंडीशंस का इलाज कर सकता है इमीडिएटली?
सर ये जो मैंने पहले भी बोला था, आई हैड एड्रेस्ड दिस कि डोंट कम टू एन आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर विथ एन एलोपैथिक नेमिंग. Get the person with the difficulty to an Ayurveda doctor who can understand the disease in his own science. है ना. अभी मैं एग्रीकल्चरल यूनिवर्सिटी में बैठ के एग्री के बारे में बोलने लगा तो मुझे मालूम नहीं होगा कि आई विल बी द नेगेटिव पर्सन टू आंसर. ऑफ कोर्स आई एम जस्ट कमिंग. Grossly we can help you out with the label of schizophrenia. With the label of schizophrenia through Ayurveda we can definitely help you out. But when we say कि Ayurvedic management of schizophrenia, it includes multiple things, not only medicine. Unlike an allopathic system, it has to be monitoring as an inpatient. It could be, or it could be taking the patient to some other scenario, like where the person is made to stay with the doctor for a couple of hours every day to discuss and drop down the difficulties. So that involves multiple specialties. Like she is here with the preventive and social medicine and yoga, and she is Panchakarma expert, and I am from a Samhita wherein no way link between clinics but still practicing. So we need to sit together and understand how the disease is originated. So if we understand the cause, then the treatment becomes easy. That is my opinion. So if you get the patient to understand why schizophrenia is seen in that particular individual, we can address in a better way.
थैंक यू. शंकर और हमारे महाराष्ट्र तुकाराम प्लीज आइए. कैन वी हैव द गिफ्ट्स प्लीज फॉर देम, फॉर द किड्स. थैंक यू प्लीज.
सर
ये आपका जो क्लैपिंग सिस्टम था यही आयुर्वेद है और वो एनएसएस में दिख रहा है. वेरी गुड, वेरी नाइस टू सी.
सर ओनली वन. गुड इवनिंग सर.
We are also 7 relevant questions out of the 10. We want to acknowledge the kids for posing some good questions. So please. Thank you. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Sir, I need one clarification, sir. Sir, here, only
We'll
one.
talk to you. Anything on the
From Tamil Nadu, only one clarification about Ayush.
हमारे सभी पैनलिस्ट के लिए कैन वी हैव अ बिग राउंड ऑफ एनएसएस तालीफ. थैंक यू. अभी मैं दीपक सिन्हा छत्तीसगढ़ से, ही इज एन एनएसएस अवॉर्डी. आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट हिम टू present you a small memento on behalf of all of us. Deepak Sinha ji, Dr. Gowri साहब को please. यति पंजाब से प्लीज डॉक्टर साधना मैडम को प्लीज. वी वुड रिक्वेस्ट वेरी स्मॉल गिफ्ट. रेवती तेलंगाना से, मैं रिक्वेस्ट यू रेवती to sort of present the gift to Dr. Chinmoyee.
Announcement for tomorrow, yoga,
चाय का है, प्लीज बिफोर यू लीव यू कैन हैव अ गुड कप ऑफ टी, एनर्जाइज. बट कल सुबह योगा है, भूलना मत. आपका जो टी शर्ट्स है प्लीज लीजिए, और योगाथॉन जो गिनेस वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड है उसमें भी पार्टिसिपेट कीजिए. दिस इज 2. कल शाम को यू आर हैविंग अ गुड सेशन अगेन. मॉर्निंग रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी का है, दोपहर मेंटल हेल्थ का है, फाइनली स्पोर्ट्स में है. यू हैव गॉट ओलंपिक गोल्ड मेडल विनर्स, यू गॉट इंटरनेशनल मेडल विनर्स विथ यू. और फाइनली आप सबके लिए खुद एक ताली बजा के वी विल से एंड फॉर द डे. एक फाइनल ताली खुद के लिए. थैंक यू.
Sir, lastly, only one. When people met an accident, suddenly met an accident, there is any
contingent leaders. All of you submitted your TA claim forms. Team leaders,